This was just a horrible tragedy all the way around, breaks our heart.
Philadelphia's police commissioner says it's going to be up to the district attorney to answer this question. When the family dogs turn on the youngest person in the family and maul them to death, is any adult in the family criminally responsible? At home with the 2-year-old boy was his adult aunt, a second adult, a 36-year-old, and a 16-year-old teenage boy. Police say the 5 dogs and the 2-year-old lived in this house together.
There's no indications of dog fighting. In fact, the house was in disarray other than, the cages on the inside. It's a bit of a mystery to us. All indications is that when one of the occupants of the house went to let the dog outside, they all came out and so we're looking to see whether there was neglect involved, but right now we don't have any obvious signs of that. I know a lot of people will say, what are you doing all those dogs, but that's not for me to determine. That's somebody's personal business. I know they're in horrible pain, as you might imagine, but by the time the police got there, we surmised that this young baby was already gone.
Police had to fire 7 shots just to get the dogs off the boy. Internal Affairs Cell will also do a standard investigation like they do anytime a police officer fires his gun. So the eventual answer to this question will come from a district attorney investigator.
The police officers who had to witness that, and had to be very strategic and tactical about how they enter as not to create additional injury to that baby. And that was not any easy thing to do, given the fact that the dogs were still charging them. And you had more than one dog while this was happening. And so it's just horrible all the way around.
And so the district attorney will eventually decide whether any adult in this family is going to be criminally responsible, or whether this is just going to be thought to be the most tragic in-home event anybody can imagine. Back to you.
That was Fox 29's Steve Keeley reporting about the death of a toddler due to a dog mauling in Port Richmond. Police say the 2-year-old was attacked by that pack of dogs, and Steve's been covering that for us all morning from the Roundhouse in Philadelphia. Let's get you to another story. This was our Jenny Joyce covering this morning. Some parents are in a panic in Burlington County this morning, trying to find a new daycare. A judge is forcing a popular child care program to close. This was Jenny from Evesham, where mom and dads are scrambling.
Yeah, so the school board put out a notice to parents, really a warning that the Teddy Bear Academy could close in a matter of weeks. The district, however, plans to appeal the judge's decision. At an emergency meeting last night, school district officials told nearly 100 parents that they may have to find an alternate daycare for their children after a competitor filed a lawsuit saying that the township's Teddy Bear Academy is illegal. The township's Board of Education runs the daycare as a business for children ages 6 weeks to 4 years old, children who aren't yet old enough for public school. The lawsuit filed by nearby Under the Sun Learning Center argues that Teddy Bear exceeded its statutory authority based on full-time and summer operating hours and by accepting students from outside of the district. Yesterday, an administrative law judge ruled in favor of the suit, which both shocked and saddened the school community.
It's upsetting because now, we have to look for a new place. If it does happen, so, it's hard to find daycare that fast.
He didn't even get to start, and we're just saying he might not get to go, so it's just scary.
I was just shocked with that, disappointed for our parents, for our staff, and certainly we're going to do whatever we can moving forward to try to have the commissioner reverse the ruling.
The judge's ruling now needs to be approved by the education commissioner. Again, the academy plans to appeal. If the appeal is denied, however, the school could shut down in September, but the district does believe it has the law on its side, and it believes that it's providing a much appreciated service to the people of this community. Back to you.
Again, that was Fox 29's Jenny Joyce reporting from Evesham, Burlington County, New Jersey, about the daycare there that is a judge has ordered it to close. So we'll see what happens from here. Want to get you a look at our weather. We are expecting some. It's humid again out there, as I'm sure you've noticed. We are expecting to get some rain too. Here's a flash flood watch that's in effect for our area this afternoon and evening. Covering, it looks like, mostly western counties: Lancaster, Berks, Northampton, Carbon, Monroe. Those storms will be coming through later today. Let's take a look at Ultimate Doppler. There's the current location of the rain, and you should see it go into motion here. So it's sliding up to the north and east as the day progresses. Let's take a look at current conditions around the area. Philadelphia, it's 80 degrees. Looks like winds out of this west-southwest at 14 miles per hour. Doylestown's 77, Wilmington 80, Atlantic City 84. Might have warmed up a little bit since then. Looks like we're at 82 now in the city. And there you can see them on a map. Across the Northeast, warming up into the 70s and up north, even in Williamsport, but 80s a little bit closer to the coast. Here's your U.S. temperatures. It's been really hot out west in the Vegas, Phoenix area, triple digits, and those are that's contributing to a lot of the wildfire problems that they've had out that way. There you can see on satellite the clouds to our west. We've got pretty good visibility right now in our area. Sue's looking ahead already. Sue Sario from the Fox 29 Weather Authority was looking ahead this morning to the weekend outlook, showing it looks like Saturday 87, heating up with pop-up storms, and sunny on 90. That could kick off a heat wave for us. We'll show you the 7-day forecast here. 88 with humid with storms today. Friday 86 humid with storms, 2 days of that, but then it looks like AM rain on Saturday might clear up in the afternoon, 87 for a high. There you see the 90 degrees and heating up on Sunday, which could kick off a 3-day heat wave there because we're getting to 91, sunny and hot on Monday. Tuesday looks about the same, and then Wednesday it's warm with storms again. You can now get medical marijuana in dry leaf form at dispensaries around Philadelphia, Pennsylvania that is. Until now, patients could only buy oils or pills. Now 16 dispensaries are selling the dry leaf marijuana, including the Keystone Shop in King of Prussia. 28 additional dispensaries are expected to sell it by next week. Patients are not allowed to smoke the plant. Instead, they must use a vaporizer. Not everyone is happy with the location of the dispensary so far, however. Councilman Green, Derek Green of Philadelphia City Council, issued a statement today that reads, in part, he was astounded and deeply disappointed to learn of Tuesday's news that Philadelphia, the largest city in the Commonwealth and poorest large city in the nation, was looked over yet again for even one grower permit out of 13. The councilman went on to say that one would think that in a city with 26% poverty rate and where access to basic healthcare essentials, especially for those suffering from one of the 21 chronic conditions treatable with medical cannabis, is an enduring problem, Philadelphia would be at the very top of the list. It is that fact that is most troubling and alarming to me. That was the city councilman speaking out about that. In New Jersey, Resorts Casino Hotel and DraftKings have been approved to offer online and mobile sports betting. They're the first two companies to receive approval in that state. The State Division of Gaming Enforcement says they will undergo a few days of testing before it's fully available. 4 casinos, including Harrah's and 2 horse tracks, already offer in-person sports betting. Let's get you some national news now. President Trump is again lashing out at special counsel investigation, investigating possible Russian collusion. It comes just as high-stakes negotiations are underway to determine whether Trump himself will testify. Doug Luzader has more this morning from Washington on what appears to be a standoff in Washington.
It seems unlikely that President Trump would actually sit down for an interview with special counsel Robert Mueller, and his most recent tweet on this subject seems to drive that point home. President Trump's frustration is obviously growing. There are signs that special counsel Robert Mueller is getting close to wrapping up his investigation into possible Russian collusion and obstruction of justice, but Trump has had enough, training his fire on beleaguered Attorney General Jeff Sessions. This is a terrible situation, and Attorney General Jeff Sessions should stop this rigged witch hunt right now before it continues to stain our country any further.
The president's tweet is unfortunate.
Even some Republicans cringed, and some Democrats called it nothing less than obstruction of justice. The White House says it was just the president venting.
It's not an order, it's the president's opinion.
So what is the president's opinion on sitting down with Mueller to answer questions? That doesn't look likely. We've learned that Mueller has refused a request to limit questions to allegations of collusion, wanting to get into possible obstruction as well, but negotiations continue.
We responded to their proposal. It took about 10 days, and yesterday we got a letter back from them. And now we're in the process of responding to their proposal.
And so the process continues, negotiations continue. Sources say that Mueller has agreed to limit the number of questions that he might ask Trump, and also accept some answers in written form, but no agreement yet.
That was Doug Luzader reporting from Washington, D.C. with the latest there. Want to get you to a business story as well. The TSA may bag airport screenings and find out if you're spending too much time on social media. Fox Business Network's Tracy Carrasco has more in today's Morning Business Outlook.
Good morning. Concerns about the trade tensions with China sent stocks lower yesterday. The Dow down over 80 points, and the selling could continue today. 3 Ukrainian hackers are in jail for allegedly stealing 15 million credit card numbers. Officials say the hackers targeted more than 100 businesses like Chipotle, Chili's, and Arby's. The information was then sold on the dark web. The TSA may be considering eliminating security checkpoints. More than 100 airports around the country could do away with the scanners to save money. According to internal documents obtained by CNN, the ban would apply to small or medium-sized airports with planes that have 60 seats or fewer. The document suggests the change could save $115 million annually. And Facebook will soon let you know if you are spending too much time on its apps. Users will see an activity board located within the settings pages of both the Facebook and Instagram apps. It will track how much time you're spending on the apps and alert you once you've hit a self-imposed time limit. That's business. For more, log on to foxbusiness.com. In New York, I'm Tracy Carrasco.
Hello again. We are following the stock market this morning. Let's take a live look at the big board. Stocks starting out down, and looks like they're about 111 points down. Fox Business is attributing this to trade tensions overshadowing a solid earnings season. The stocks are they're saying concerns about the Trump administration's proposal to tack on a 25% tariff on $200 billion worth of Chinese imports is hanging over the markets. But today we'll include a full plate of earnings reports and economic data. So you see the market down about 110 points, less than a half percentage point at this time this morning. A A bicycle delivery man accused of killing a real estate developer could soon be released from jail and placed on house arrest. This is a conversation we were having on Good Day Philadelphia this morning. Our morning anchor, Karen Hepp, was speaking with local attorney Shaka Johnson, and let's bring that to you now.
Case that we've been following is this bicycle delivery man and college student accused of killing a real estate developer. He could soon be released from jail and put on house arrests. Bail has been set for Michael White at $150,000. He's the suspect in court yesterday. Very interesting development. The district attorney downgraded the charges against him from first-degree murder to third-degree murder and voluntary manslaughter. Police say he stabbed 37-year-old Sean Skellinger in the back during a confrontation near Rittenhouse Square. So let's break this all down. Shaka Johnson is here to talk about this case. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Karen.
Very interesting developments with this. Why do you think this happened?
Well, because I think two reasons. I think the prosecutor here, the actual prosecutor, the district attorney, thought about how this case was unfolding in the public, first of all. I think, second of all, he realized that, let me sort of take some of the wind out of defense sails by doing what is likely to happen anyway. See, he supposedly reviewed a tape that we have yet to see.
So we don't know.
We don't know. And used some discretion there and downgraded the charges to what they would have likely been downgraded to if the tape shows what he says it shows, which is this young man, Mr. White, being provoked to use the knife to stab Mr. Skellinger.
So, and then also that he turned himself in, and
Correct.
also he told them where the murder weapon was.
Full cooperation, that is always something. But even outside of that, if you just look at the bare facts of it, what happened, it appears when you talked about the witnesses' interviews, what they said, and Mr. Skellinger's friends I'm talking about, as well as the video from the area on Chancellor Street, it does appear that there was enough provocation to support perhaps a voluntary manslaughter. First-degree murder is a far cry from voluntary manslaughter. We're talking about premeditation and malice. That's first-degree murder. Voluntary manslaughter suggests that there was enough that went on between you and I was provoked to the extent that I might have done too much and killed you.
In the heat of the moment, as opposed to it's
commonly referred
clearly
to as
not
heat of
intentional.
passion. Yes, ma'am.
And it appears, does it appear, according to the witnesses, that instead of, it's not like he ran up and attacked the victim by stabbing him in the back, that maybe there was a struggle and it happened where he was on top of him?
As a matter of fact, to go a little further, Karen, there might have been some sort of dispute between Mr. Skellinger and someone else that Michael White was trying to diffuse initially. Then things turned on Mr. White. He got into some verbal altercation with Mr. Skellinger, and that morphed into what we now know this tragedy.
Interestingly, in this case, the suspect's family has been extremely holding rallies and prayer groups and praying for the victim, and very open and contrite.
I think that everyone has been trying to, in a really, really dark place here, in terms of this tragedy on both sides, has been trying to act with class. And I applaud both sides as much as I can in these sort of circumstances, even the district attorney's office, for having the conversation with the Skellinger family prior to making the announcement yesterday, so it didn't come as news to them because their loved one is deceased. Mr. White will get a bail, obviously, we know that, but their loved one is no longer here. I thought it was classy to at least have a conversation with the family, whether they agree with your decision or not, to tell them in advance, this is what we intend to do for these reasons.
Yeah, I've seen some reports where heartbroken mothers not too happy with the situation, having the charges downgraded, as you could imagine, as a mother would feel.
Yes, ma'am.
And then how much money will he have to make for the bail? Bail's $150,000. Does that mean just 10%?
$15,000, and that is just held in a surety space, meaning he'll pay the $15,000, and the lion's share of that will be given back to him once the case is disposed of. No matter how it turns out, that will be returned back to the person who posted the bail for Mr. White.
I want to get your opinion on another case that Steve Keeley is covering this morning. It's this horrific case. We have this little boy who's been mauled by 5 dogs in his home, and it was his aunt who was watching him. Do you think there could be charges in this case?
There most certainly could be charges. At a minimum, endangering the welfare of a child. When you have a 2-year-old toddler in the same circumference as 5 pit bulls. Now, I don't want to get too emotional and go for the low-hanging fruit of wild pit bulls. I would say if you put a 2-year-old toddler in the presence of 5 dogs, period, any breed, I think that you are creating an atmosphere where that toddler could be injured. Now, you reinsert the fact that they were, in fact, pit bulls. There's going to be an investigation by not only the police, but the ASPCA. And if we find that these dogs had been trained to fight or had some sort of proclivity for violence, any of the 5 dogs, there's going to be criminal charges. There has to be.
And that would probably make a big difference, too, if there had been any of that involved.
Yes, it certainly will. Civil suits aside, there should be, and there will likely be criminal charges because this toddler was placed in harm's way.
Right, but a lot of people have 5 dogs, so we'll say, Shaka, thank you. We really appreciate it
Certainly,
for your
certainly.
time and your elucidating all of those topics as well. 7:37 is.
Hello again, Paul Rupel here with Fox 29 News Now. We're going to take a live look at weather again. Here is ultimate Doppler radar. You can see storms moving to the north and east. Should get here later today. There is a flash flood watch that's in effect. That's for later today, this afternoon and evening. For the areas highlighted in green here that you'll see, Lancaster, Berks, Northampton, Carbon, and Monroe counties. And just double checking, it looks like that is the latest flash flood watch. National Weather Service is saying that that's from 2 p.m. this afternoon through this evening, that showers and thunderstorms containing heavy downpours are expected to develop. This activity may become better organized toward early evening and then weaken eventually late in the evening. While rainfall amounts are area-wide, will generally average under 1 inch. Locally heavy rainfall of 2 to 3 inches are possible where thunderstorms move over the same location. Areas to the west of Philadelphia and our coverage area, mainly, but also including some of these areas, got a lot of rain last week. Some got more than 10 inches of rain over the course of that week. So there is some ground saturation, although we've dried out a little bit in recent days. Some of these areas saw some rain last night as well. Let's take a look at current temperatures. We'll get a close-up look at Doppler first. You can see the storms seem to be getting a little bit better organized there toward the latter frames. Still warming up. Let's get you a look at our weather cameras around the region. This is our rundown of regional weather cameras from around the Philadelphia area. It's taking a minute to come up, so let's show you Old City, Philadelphia. There you go. And the current conditions at this moment. We're at 82 degrees, dew point 72. I think Sue was showing this morning that the relative humidity is in the 80% range, so it is sticky again out there. Winds are out of the southwest at about 11 miles an hour right now. And here come those promised cameras from around our region. Oh. It should be there in a moment. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, there we go. Figured out what the problem is. want to bring you back live here. Paul Ruppel again with Fox 29 News Now. I'm going to take a live look at Capitol Hill here while we discuss this story. The Associated Press is reporting that, according to the White House, President Trump has received a new letter from North Korea's Kim Jong-un following up on their Singapore summit. You remember the president made the trip there and talked a bit about denuclearization with the North Korean dictator. The president also tweeted this morning, "Thank you to Chairman Kim Jong-un for keeping your word and starting the process of sending home the remains of our great and beloved missing fallen. I'm not at all surprised that you took this kind action. Also, thank you for your nice letter. I look forward to seeing you." So there you have the president talking a bit about, those were the remains of soldiers from the Korean War that were sent home to America in the past few days. The military is now beginning the painstaking process of analyzing remains from the Korean War that were handed over by North Korea last week. Vice President Mike Pence and the commander of U.S. forces in Asia received the remains contained in 55 caskets during an emotional and solemn ceremony Wednesday. This is according to the Associated Press. The homecoming 65 years after an armistice ended the conflict, and after President Trump received a commitment from North Korean leader Kim Jong-un at their summit in Singapore for their return. Taking a live look at Capitol Hill. Let's show you the stock market again. Currently, the Dow is down about 112 points. It's still over the 25,000 mark at 25,222. Down less than a half percentage point. Fox Business Network is reporting that the trade war and the threatened tariffs against China, I believe it's 25% on all Chinese products, would be subject to that tariff, and that is affecting stocks this morning. We're going to keep things on Ultimate Doppler for a bit here so you can watch storms moving into the area from the west. Not quite in Lancaster County yet, but you'll see they're building and getting a bit stronger. Here's the wider look at radar. A little bit more information for you. The National Weather Service has just tweeted there is a moderate risk for rip currents today. This implies that individuals planning to enter the surf should check with local beach patrols first Be sure to swim within sight of a lifeguard and never swim alone or at night. That's from the National Weather Service. Of course, we have a lot of folks down the shore vacationing at this time of summer. Here's another look at the weekend outlook. Sue Serio had this for you during Good Day Philadelphia this morning. Saturday, it looks like we'll be heating up with pop-up storms, 87, and sunny, 90 on Sunday. Here's a look at what's going to be happening across the area. You'll see some storms moving into Saturday morning. Here's your 7-day forecast again. Humid with storms today, 88. Those storms arriving from the west, traveling to the north and east. National Weather Service has us in a marginal risk for damaging winds as a result of those storms today. So it doesn't sound like they'll be too bad, but always keep an eye on the forecast. Download the Fox 29 Weather Authority app to get location-based alerts anytime you're on the go. 86 humid with storms again on Friday, then 87 on Saturday with morning rain and afternoon, evening sun. Well, not in the evening. Sunday heating up to 90. That could be the start of a brief heat wave or a heat wave. It's going to be 90, 91, 90. Looks like we'll get to 87 on Wednesday with some storms back, storm chances again. We'll be right back.
Check out the Fox 29 Facebook page from your phone. Breaking news, weather authority updates, even chat with your favorite Fox 29 personalities. Download the app and start following now.
What is the distance around a circle called?
Circumference?
Nailed it! Yes! Hey, it's Richard Curtis here, host of the new game show coming to Fox 29, The Classroom. Who invented the telephone?
Alexander Graham Bell?
She nailed it! It's teachers versus students going head-to-head in the classroom. If you're a principal or authorized school official, here's your first homework assignment. Go to theclassroom.com to learn how you can be a part of the show. Thanks for being a part of the classroom. Gotta go.
How much are tickets to see the Q?
They're free.
Wait a minute. How much?
The tickets are free.
Be a part of the audience. Go to fox29.com/Q tickets.
Bye, bye, bye.
If you love Good Day during the week, then don't miss Good Day Philadelphia weekend. News, weather, stories in your community.
Uh-oh, a sneak peek.
Check out what's happening around the area. There's only one place to be, in the know. Good Day Philadelphia weekend. Starting at 7 a.m. We go there.
Coming back live to you right now. Let's take another look. It looked like a very nice scene down in Cape May, New Jersey. So let's put that up for you so you can see the beach scene there. This looks like a nice place to be right now. Again, the Weather Service, we were just mentioning that the National Weather Service in Mount Holly, which covers the Philadelphia area, did just warn there's a moderate risk for rip currents today. So if you're planning to be in the surf, check with local beach patrols first. Be sure to swim within sight of lifeguards and never swim alone or at night. So moderate risk. Please keep that in mind and take that under consideration as you're swimming at the shore today. There's a fair amount of fog on our cameras this morning. A little bit of, looks like some morning mist has yet to burn off, or fog. This is Wildwood, New Jersey. Folks out enjoying the boardwalk this morning. You see the bikers are still out there. Not as many people just walking. A lot of people on their bikes, might be because of this, how sticky it is out there. Cameron Ocean City was even more foggy this morning. Let's show you that. Not much to see there. It's pretty blurry with the fog and mist that's out there. Doesn't look like as much fog right now, just a bit of mist on the camera perhaps. And farther down south, here's Rehoboth Beach in Delaware. Let's talk one more time about the flash flood watch. It is in effect this afternoon and evening, starting at 2 p.m. for counties west and a bit north of Philadelphia. Here's your look at ultimate Doppler. See a little bit of rain popping up there maybe in central Jersey. Most of it is centered off to the center of Pennsylvania. It's a couple degrees warmer than it was at this hour yesterday in Philly, but pretty similar across most of the area. Again, the humidity is making it feel much more sticky out there. Feels like 87 in Philadelphia, despite only being about 82 right now. Take a closer look at, there's a little spot of rain a bit center of the state, but not too much creeping up just yet as we look at the shore points. Looks like we had a pretty good wind gust down in AC of 21 miles per hour, but not too much wind to speak of. You see a lot of it out of the south and southwest, pumping that heat into our area and humidity. We do have a 7-day forecast for the Poconos. Should get to about 74 tomorrow, then in the 80s over the weekend into Monday, back down into the 70s for highs next week. Looks like overnight lows in the low to mid 60s. Although getting down to 59 next Thursday in the forecast. And here's your forecast for the shore. 80s to 90s on Sunday and Monday, back down into the upper 80s in the middle of next week. Sue's calling today a 7, according to our weather by the numbers. And here you can see yesterday's high was 89. That's 2 ticks above our average, 87. Of course, it feels warmer. It's going to feel warmer than that with the humidity. Here's another look at current conditions. '82 in Philadelphia as you look at Old City, Philadelphia, outside our Fox 29 studios. Dew point is 72 and winds out of the southwest at 11 miles per hour. And here's a live look at the Benjamin Franklin Parkway. I can tell you about this. Mayor Kenny was holding an event this morning around 10 a.m. where he was announcing the programming lineup for Philly Free Streets on North Broad. This is the third time they've done Philly Free Streets. It's happening on August 11th. So that would be checking my calendar. Next Saturday will be Philly Free Streets from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Free admission to cultural institutions, to a beach on North Broad Streets, to a scavenger hunt on North Broad's vibrant African American history. Philly Free Streets will have an array of programming available for those who walk, run, play, hike, and explore the route. That's according to a news release from the mayor's office this morning. Mayor told assembled media that we know that Philly Free Streets brings together people from across our city. Data from past years show that residents of at least 42 zip codes in Philadelphia attended the 26 and 2017 programs, and we hope to have an even bigger turnout this year on North Broad Street. Again, that was Mayor Jim Kenney speaking this morning, or in a news release, about the Philly Free Streets event that'll occur next Saturday, August 11th. Philly Free Streets highlights active transportation options as well as neighborhood walkability and its positive impacts on public health, the environment, business, and the community, the news release says. So, if you have the opportunity to get out and enjoy, I believe they said it's an 8-mile loop. You can start where you want. 8-mile continuous loop, something along those lines. You can take public transportation, SEPTA, to get there. There's a ribbon cutting at 8 a.m. Right here on John F. Kennedy Boulevard. And then Mayor Kenney does a power walk heading north. There's also Indigo bike corrals and prizes. That's August 11th in Philadelphia. Hope you've enjoyed News Now. Again, we're live every morning from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. After Good Day Philadelphia. We try to bring you live events. There's not a whole lot live occurring this morning here or being shared from our Fox affiliates, but here is another look at the stock exchange. You see it's dipped a little bit down, not quite as low as it got this morning, 144 points, a little more than a half percentage point at this time. We're going to sign off for the day. I want to thank you very much for joining. Again, Paul Ruppel here with Fox 29 News Now. Have a great day and take care.